Hey, good day, America. Good day, and welcome to the Truth to Freedom podcast. I'm one half of the host here, Mr. James Parker, and I'm joined along with my dear brother, Mr. Quentin Williams. How you doing, sir?
Doing well. How you doing?
Man, I'm doing good, sir. We braved the second snowstorm of the winter, and uh, didn't get buried like some of these other people. In fact, we didn't get really nothing compared to what the people south of us got, which I'm kind of glad. But it's still bitterly cold, so it is winter. I don't know if they like snow.
And you,
Huh?
you hear my background noise, James? I got some background noise going on.
Uh, Hold on, folks. Might have some technical difficulties. No, I don't hear anything. What you hear?
My baby's running around.
Oh, no. Well, that's a good background noise there. I don't mind hearing a little pat of feet, but no, I don't hear anything.
Okay.
And how's that little one of yours doing?
Good. She's walking, and she's got she's got two teeth in, and she's got two more that are coming. And she just walks around talking and yelling all day.
Man, time don't stop for nobody. Oh my Lord, that's I remember when you first had her, this
And
little
eating.
thing
She
wrapped up, and now she's walking and talking, and teeth are protruding out. Oh Lord. Next she'd be telling me she'd be getting ready to sign up for college.
Yep. Yep.
Wow. See, life is good. You only get one shot, America. You get one shot at life. And, we talk about this on this podcast. We feel, and Quentin can chime in too. We feel that every person, every American, every human being, to be honest with you, should be able to pursue, strive, and have a happy life. Um, Whatever they choose to do. If they choose to raise a family, they should be able to raise a family and not be barred down with all the other rhetoric that comes along with trying to raise a family. They should be able to raise a family comfortable. They should be able to live comfortable. They should be able to make the choice if they want the mother to stay at home and not have to worry about working 8 more jobs just so she can stay at home. Um, America has let corporations and the wealthy run us into the ground because they don't have these issues over in the European countries. And we'll talk about that on a later episode. But that's what it's all about. It's about raising your family. It's about being able to do things with your family, be happy, and if your family member gets sick, you can take them for treatment and not have to worry about going into bankruptcy and all the other stuff that come along with living here in the so-called America. As you know, our president say, "Make America great again." Don't know when it was supposedly great, but anyway, we're going to make it great again. And then people take that term and you can run with it what you want. So I don't know what you think there, Quentin.
I agree with you. I think everybody should have a fair chance and not be burdened down with life, work or expenses, you know. So
Yeah, I know, but I'm sure others will have it. But we're gonna do a future episode on that. I got some things I like to throw out there and just give people uh, an insight on how it can be. And uh, what's funny is a lot of stuff that Quentin brings to the table, and a lot of stuff that we be talking about. If we if we talk about it and it diverts back to the European countries, come to find out a lot of that stuff originally started here. And because it didn't really make money for the corporate people, they didn't follow through on it. But these other countries were smart enough to realize the benefits of making things available to all. And so they took the idea and they're very successful. We're doing a show on that in the future because I found out some stuff that was really interesting as far as places like uh, Norway and Switzerland and Finland and um, Germany. Um, it's another country over there, a little small country just below Germany. Um, Things that they have incorporated to make life well for everybody, and it works. And so we're going to talk about that because they show the evidence. It works. It works. And so maybe if we get enough people talking, maybe we can kind of get some of them ideas rolling over here. But anyway, okay, folks, we are into the first 100 days of our newly elected president, Mr. Donald Trump. And so, he hit the floor. He hit the floor running before he actually was even or not, sworn in as president. So we're going to talk about that a little bit. But first, we want to go back to our dear president, Mr. Biden, as he gave his farewell speech. And so he pointed out some things in his speech. And so we want to go back and review. We want to talk about that. We want to talk about a little bit in his speech. And we're going to see if we agree, disagree, and we'll see. Here we go. Technology at work.
I'm speaking to you tonight from the Oval Office. Before I begin, let me speak to important news that from earlier today. After 8 months of nonstop negotiation, my administration, ceasefire, the hostage deal has been reached by Israel and Hamas, the elements of which I laid out in great detail in May this year. This plan was developed and negotiated by my team and will be largely implemented by the incoming administration. That's why I told my team to keep the incoming administration fully informed, because that's how it should be, working together as Americans. This will be my final address to you from the American people from the Oval Office, from this desk as president. And I've been thinking a lot about who we are and maybe more importantly, who we should be. Long ago in New York Harbor, an iron worker installed beam after beam, day after day. He was joined by steel workers, stonemasons, engineers. They built not just a single structure, but a beacon of freedom. The very idea of America was so big, we felt the entire world needed to see. The Statue of Liberty, a gift from France after our Civil War. Like the very idea of America, it was built not by one person, but by many people from every background and from around the world. Like America, the Statue of Liberty is not standing still. Her foot literally steps forward atop a broken chain of human bondage. She's on the march, and she literally moves. She was built to sway back and forth to withstand the fury, stormy weather. Stand the test of time because storms are always coming. She sways a few inches, but she never falls into the current below. An engineering marvel. The Statue of Liberty is also an enduring symbol of the soul of our nation. A soul shaped by forces that bring us together and by forces that pull us apart. And yet through good times and tough times, we've withstood it all. A nation of pioneers and explorers, of dreamers and doers, of ancestors native to this land, of ancestors who came by force, a nation of immigrants came to build a better life, a nation holding the torch of the most powerful idea ever in the history of the world, that all of us are created equal, that all of us deserve to be treated with dignity, justice, and fairness, that democracy must defend and be defined and be imposed, moved in every way possible. Our rights, our freedoms, our dreams. But we know the idea of America, our institution, our people, our values that uphold it are constantly being tested. Ongoing debates about power, the exercise of power. But whether we lead by the example of our power or the power of our example, whether we show the courage to stand up to the abuse of power or we yield to it. After 50 years at the center of all of this, I know that believing in the idea of America means respecting the institutions that govern a free society, the presidency, the Congress, the courts, a free and independent press, institutions that are rooted, they just might not reflect the timeless words, but they echo the words of the Declaration of Independence. We hold these truths to be self-evident, rooted in the timeless words of the Constitution. We, the people, our system of separation of powers, checks and balances, may not be perfect, but it's maintained our democracy for nearly 250 years, longer than any other nation in history that's ever tried such a bold experiment. In the past 4 years, our democracy has held strong, and every day I've kept my commitment to be president for all Americans through one of the toughest periods in our nation's history. I've had a great partner in Vice President Kamala Harris. been the honor of my life to see the resilience of essential workers getting us through a once-in-a-century pandemic, the heroism of service members and first responders keeping us safe, the determination of advocates standing up for our rights and our freedoms instead of losing their jobs to an economic crisis that we inherited. Millions of Americans now have the dignity of work. Millions of entrepreneurs and companies creating new businesses and industries, hiring American workers, using American products. Together, we've launched a new era of American possibilities, one of the greatest modernizations of infrastructure in our entire history, from new roads, bridges, clean water, portable high-speed internet for every American. We invented the semiconductor, smaller than the tip of my little finger, and now it's bringing those chip factories, those jobs back to America where they belong, creating thousands of jobs. Finally, giving Medicare the power to negotiate lower prescription drug prices for millions of seniors. Finally, doing something to protect our children, our families, by passing the most significant gun safety law in 30 years and bringing violent crime to a 50-year low. Meeting our sacred obligation to over 1 million veterans so far who are exposed to toxic materials, to their families, providing medical care and education benefits and more for their families. You know, it will take time to feel the full impact of all we've done together, but the seeds are planted and they'll grow and they'll bloom for decades to come. At home, we've created nearly 17 million new jobs, more than any other single administration, a single term. More people have health care than ever before. And overseas, we've strengthened NATO. Ukraine is still free. We pulled ahead of our competition with China. So much more. I'm so proud of how much we've accomplished together for the American people. And I wish the incoming administration success, because I want America to succeed. That's why I've held my duty to ensure a peaceful and orderly transition of power, to ensure we lead by the power of our example. I have no doubt that America is in a position to continue to succeed. That's why my farewell address tonight, I want to warn the country of some things that give me great concern. This is a dangerous concentration, and that's a dangerous concentration of power in the hands of a very few ultra-wealthy people. The dangerous consequences if their abuse of power is left unchecked. Today, an oligarchy is taking shape in America of extreme wealth, power, and influence that literally threatens our entire democracy, our basic rights and freedoms, and a fair shot for everyone to get ahead. We see the consequences all across America, and we've seen it before. More than a century ago, the American people stood up to the robber barons back then and busted the trusts. They didn't punish the wealthy. This made the wealthy play by the rules everybody else had. Workers want rights to earn their fair share. You know, they were dealt into the deal and helped put us on a path to building the largest middle class, most prosperous century any nation in the world has ever seen. We've got to do that again. The last 4 years, that's exactly what we've done. People should be able to make as much as they can, but play by the same rules, pay their fair share in taxes. So much is at stake. Right now, the existential threat of climate change has never been clearer. Just look across the country, from California to North Carolina. That's why I signed the most significant climate and clean energy law ever in the history of the world. And the rest of the world is trying to model it now. It's working, creating jobs and industries of the future. Now, we've proven we don't have to choose between protecting the environment and growing the economy. We're doing both. Powerful forces want to wield their unchecked influence to eliminate the steps we've taken to tackle the climate crisis, to serve their own interest for power and profit. We must not be bullied to sacrificing the future of our children and our grandchildren. We must keep pushing forward, push faster. There's no time to waste. It's also clear that American leadership in technology is an unparalleled source of innovation that can transform lives. We see the same dangers, the concentration of technology, power, and wealth. You know, his farewell address, President Eisenhower spoke of the dangers of the military-industrial complex. He warned us then about, and I quote, potential for the disastrous rise of misplaced power, end of quote. 6 decades later, I'm equally concerned about the potential rise of a tech-industrial complex that could pose real dangers for our country as well. Americans are being buried under an avalanche of misinformation, disinformation, enabling the abuse of power. The free press is crumbling. Editors are disappearing. Social media is giving up on fact-checking. The truth is smothered by lies, told for power and for profit. We must hold the social platform accountable, protect our children, our families, and our very democracy from the abuse of power. Meanwhile, artificial intelligence is the most consequential technology of our time, perhaps of all time. Nothing offers more profound possibilities and risk for our economy, our security, our society, for humanity. Artificial intelligence even has the potential to help us answer my call to end cancer as we know it. But unless safeguards are in place, AI could spawn new threats to our rights, our way of life, to our privacy, how we work, and how we protect our nation. We must make sure AI is safe and trustworthy and good for all humankind. In the age of AI, it's more important than ever that the people must govern. And as the land of liberty, America, not China, must lead the world in the development of AI. You know, in the years ahead, the help to be, it's going to be up to the president, the presidency, the Congress, the courts, the free press, and the American people to confront these powerful forces. We must reform the tax code, not by giving the biggest tax cuts to billionaires, but by making them begin to pay their fair share. We need to get back. That's that hidden funding behind too many campaigns contributions. We need to get it out of our politics. We need to enact an 18-year time limit, time and term, for the strongest ethics and the strongest ethics reforms for our Supreme Court. We need to ban members of Congress from trading stock while they're in the Congress. We need to amend the Constitution to make clear that no president is immune from crimes that he or she commits while in office. The president's power is not limited. It's not absolute. It shouldn't be. And in a democracy, there's another danger, of the concentration of power and wealth. It erodes a sense of unity and common purpose. It causes distrust and division. Participating in our democracy becomes exhausting and even disillusioning. People don't feel like they have a fair shot. We have to stay engaged in the process. I know it's frustrating. A fair shot is what makes America, America. Everyone's entitled to a fair shot, not a guarantee, but just a fair shot, even playing field, going as far as your hard work and talent can take you. We can never lose that essential truth in who we are. I've always believed, and I've told other world leaders, America can be defined by one word: possibilities. Only in America do we believe anything is possible. Like a kid with a stutter from modest beginnings in Scranton, Pennsylvania, Claremont, Delaware, sitting behind this desk in the Oval Office as President of the United States. That's the magic of America. It's all around us. Upstairs in the residence of the White House, I've walked by a painting of the Statue of Liberty, I don't know how many times. In the painting, there's several workers climbing on the outstretched arm, the statue that holds the torch. It reminds me every day I pass it of the story and soul of our nation and the power of the American people. There's a story of a veteran. This is a veteran, son of an immigrant, whose job was to climb that torch and polish the amber panes so rays of light could reach out as far as possible. He was known as the keeper of the flame. He once said of the Statue of Liberty, quote, speaks the silent universal language, one of hope, that anyone who speaks freedom can understand. Yes, we sway back and forth to withstand the fury of the storm, stand the test of time. A constant struggle, a short distance between peril and possibility. What I believe is the America of our dreams is always closer than we think. It's up to us to make our dreams come true. Let me close by stating my gratitude to so many people, to the members of my administration, as well as public service and first responders across the country and around the world. Thank you for stepping up to serve. To our service members and your families, it's been the highest honor of my life to lead you as Commander-in-Chief. And of course, to Kamala and our incredible partner, the historic Vice President. She and Doug have become like family. To me, family's everything. My deepest appreciation, our amazing First Lady who's with me in the Oval today, for our entire family. You're the love of my life and the life of my love. My eternal thanks to you, the American people. After 50 years of public service, I give you my word. I still believe in the idea for which this nation stands. A nation where the strength of our institutions and the character of our people matter and must endure. Now it's your turn to stand guard. May you all be the keeper of the flame. May you keep the faith. I love America. You love it too. God bless you all. May God protect our troops. Thank you for this great honor.
So there you go. That was the speech, farewell speech to the nation, to us from our president, Joe Biden. And I know, Quinn, you got a lot to say, but America, let me tell y'all something. I hope y'all was really listening to that. And this is that I really was listening for a second time. Listen, he was telling y'all better watch these people. Y'all better watch them because it's the select few of the wealthy that's running everything. And if you're not paying attention, and if you don't stand up for your rights, they're gonna mess around and put y'all in a corral, just like they corralling a bunch of bulls, lining them up for the slaughter. Exactly what they're gonna do to you. Then you're gonna be running around wondering what happened. We got this. This is going back to what we originally were saying when we started this podcast. We got to get out of this party system, this two-party, whatever. Man, you got to first know who you're backing, and if you're backing anybody, make sure that their views and value falls in line with your views and values. Don't just take the word of the party, because every party has a what you call them people, like a press that put out information.
PR, public relations.
There you go. Thank you, sir. Public relations department that just puts out stuff, propaganda pretty much. But they're going to put out what going to make their party look good and sound good and what the people want to hear. And because y'all just hear it and go with it, y'all don't investigate behind the scenes. He was letting y'all know, y'all better be paying attention because now that Trump's in office, we don't know what's getting ready to happen. I mean, we can pray for him and hope that everything works out fine. Ultimately, God is in control. So whatever's going to happen is going to happen. But if we don't start acting independently and looking at stuff and asking questions, and then when things aren't going the way they're supposed to, we need to stand in the streets. We need to stand. We need to fight back. We need to march. We need to do all the stuff that we were doing until they come online and make it fair for all. And he's right. It needs to be fair for all, not just for the wealthy, not just for the 1%. It needs to be fair across the board for everybody. And we can do that. But when you only got the few controlling everything that don't want it, that's what makes it hard for everybody. And so now you have to struggle down here on the bottom while they're living up there in the penthouse, eating crimpets and caviar, But I hope y'all heard what he said about Congress and regulating how they get to buy stock and sell stock based on inside information. See, they know before we know a lot of stuff that's going on when it comes to the stock market and what's growing, whatever. And they just put out a thing the other day about Nancy Pelosi starting to put millions of dollars into some certain stocks like NVIDIA and some other AI type stocks and things of that nature. Like not a couple of $100, couple of thousand, millions. She's putting millions into these companies. So that should tell you something. And then again, that's what runs the market. The market doesn't run itself. The people run the market. The ones that have the money, these hedge funds that has billions of dollars that can go in and take this one stock and buy it and run it up. And everybody just looks at, hey, this stock is running up. So everybody falls in and buys and buys and buys. Your little $100, $200 you try to buy, but they done put $1 billion into this one stock and ran it up. Then everybody else put their money into it. And you're thinking, oh man, this is great. This is great. This is great. And you're not watching what's going on. Then when they hit their number or how much they wanted to make, they pull all their money out, all billions of it, not just a little bit, all of it. And what happens to the stock? It crashes. And then there you are, a poor mouth, and out of thousands of dollars. That's what they do. Research it. That's what they do. That's what they do. So the market does not run itself. But I hope y'all heard that there needs to be some kind of regulations for them doing what they do when it comes to the stock market. They buy and sell stock based on information that they get before anybody else. And then they the ones flooding the money or taking the money out, causing the stock to go up and down, sideways, back and forth. And you're sitting here trying to figure out what's going on. It ain't the market, it's the people. So that's my 2 cents. Quentin, take it away, sir. What you got?
Well, I agree with him about talking about the oligarchy and whatnot, but I think he helped create some of that. I think he contributed to a lot of it, especially the finance industry, banking. He was at one point he was known as Senator Credit Card because he was so close with a company in Delaware. I think a lot of what he said is true, but I also think that he plays both sides. You know, he got in and he said that for a lot of stuff that he couldn't do. There was something specific. He said he got up. He said, "Well, I don't have the power to do that," and it's true. It's true. He does. He didn't have the power to do it because he had to go through Congress and whatnot.
Right.
Two things with that. I mean, one, he shouldn't have made any promises that he couldn't keep, and two, that just goes to show that we do need another system. We need something different. You know, personally, I can't really take him serious. He's got a real bad political history. He's done. I mean, people can change, yes, but I don't believe in his heart of hearts. He believes in what he says. I think given the chance, he'll do the same thing he did all over again, to be honest.
And that's quite true. And I think that's what you mentioned before. You had said that that's the whole reason the Democratic Party is falling apart in the first place, because I don't even think they believe their own hype anymore. And what they spew out ain't what's going to help anybody. In fact, it was funny because I'm sure you heard this because somebody was talking about this yesterday. They said that what Biden should have done, what the Democratic Party should have done was pump some drugs into Biden to help him get through these last couple of months, to make him look like he was something to get through the election. Because if he had ran, he would have won. I kind of believe that. I think if he had hung in there, I think he would have got enough votes. He'd have pulled it off. Anyway, they said they should have pumped him up with enough drugs to get him through the election, get him through the inauguration, and then in his first 100 days, resign and turn it over to Kamala, and she would have had to, and then she would have been president. I said, well, you know what? I mean, looking back, that probably wouldn't have been a bad idea. Why they didn't go through with that, I don't know. That makes sense to me. If you really want to make sure Kamala got into the White House as president, screw going through an election. You already know Biden's the number one leading candidate. Go with Biden, push him through, prep him, pop him up with some sticks and something or whatever you had to do to get him through and get him through the election. Once he's elected and sworn in, the very next day he can resign and turn it over to Kamala. Ain't nothing nobody can do about it. But the Democratic Party has failed. They have failed to really respond to the needs of the people, because it's now just a point of they just feed you a bunch of words and promises, and they don't ever really fulfill them. And I think that's what killed them, because you had Kamala running on the same platform that they just ran on when Biden got in. So you're telling me for the last 4 years y'all didn't get anything done? Now you're gonna turn around and tell me you're gonna do the same thing? So you mean nothing to me, and then you want me to vote you back in for another 4 years? Really? Are you kidding me? And I don't even think they realize that. They're thinking that it's about women, it's about this. No, think about it, man. You're telling me to vote for you. You're telling me to vote for you, and you're running the same problems down to me that y'all been running from the last election, the last 4 years when y'all got in. That's what got y'all in the first place, because y'all said y'all was going to fix these things. Now here we are at the end of them 4 years, and now you're running on the same platform that you ran on when you first came in 4 years ago, and you want me to vote you in for another 4 years on the same issues. Not happening. And so Trump, he got smart people behind him. For him to talk the way he talk and how he talk and what we're going to do and how we're going to do, he's very aggressive. He's very blunt. That's what people wanted to hear, and that's what people wanted. and that's what got him voted in. So I don't know. What you think?
I agree with you. My take is we harp on the Republicans being against progress, but I think it's the Democrats who are against progress. They block progress, and the Republicans look like the only party that's doing something because I mean they're doing things. The Democrats, they don't, like you said, they just run on the same platforms.
Mhm.
But somebody explained it like this, and she said politicians. Now we know politicians lie to get votes. We know, like people that are well read and they understand a little bit more of politics, economics than the average person. They understand that it's kind of like theatrics, and so they're supposed to get you to vote for them. And she said that Kalama didn't do a good job of doing that. Like you said, she didn't really run on anything. I mean, she had some ideas, but they didn't really sound like a whole lot. You know, it sounds like it was going to be the same thing Biden had. Um, but she made a good point when she said that. She said then, and to do that, and then to expect me to vote for you, it's kind of arrogant. It's like a slap in the face.
Yeah,
And here come Trump. Trump comes out. Trump's like, "Oh, y'all are tired. Oh, everything is low. Are you tired of seeing immigrants? I'm sending everybody out of the country. I'm doing this. I'm doing that."
that's what they wanted to hear. And not only that, he has the kahunas enough to follow through, which he
Yeah,
did. As soon as he got president, he sat down, started signing all his executive orders. Now, I'm sure his party and him know that some of that stuff was going to be challenged in the courts, which they are, just like with the immigrants and the
birthright.
birthrights and all that other stuff. I think he knew that was going to end up going to court, but he was smart enough to at least put the play the trump card and put it all into motion. Now, if it sits tied up in court, that ain't his fault. You know what I'm saying? It's not
Yeah,
his fault. If nothing comes to pass these next 4 years because we getting drawn out in long court battles, that's fine. I did what I said I was going to do. I told you I was going to write an executive order to stop all this mess, and I did. I signed it the first day I sat down. Soon after I got uh sworn in and went to all my parties. The last party I was at, I sat down at the desk and started signing executive orders. So I did my part. I lived up to my obligation, but they took us to court, and so that's where they're at. And I think we're going to win. We're going to win in the courts. We're going to fight them. We're going to fight them, but it's in the court's hands now. I did what I was supposed to do. So y'all got to understand how they play the game. Um, he threw a lot of stuff out there that if you actually thought about it, some of it, well, we had talked about it on here. Some of that stuff just wasn't going to go through, regardless of what he thought. It wasn't going to go, not immediately anyway. Now, some of the stuff he might win in court. I don't know. I just don't know. Because they said that the one thing is in the Constitution, so he can't override the Constitution. Um,
yeah,
but hey, we're talking about the person that just got uh Roe versus Wade overturned. So I don't know. If it goes all the way to the Supreme Court, remember, he stacked the Supreme Court with his people. So if it makes it to the Supreme Court, they might rule in his favor, and then he's going to have a free get out of jail free card to do what he needs to do. If it goes that high, which it probably will. I'm pretty sure as it goes through the circuit court system, eventually it's going to go to the Supreme Court. But remember, the Supreme Court stacked with his people. So he'll get his way either way. Just might take a minute. So,
yeah.
but I mean, and Kamala, again, I don't know what they was running on because even she did all these appearances, had all these celebrities, had all this star power, and every time you heard her speak, she never really spoke on anything but we're a resilient people, and we're this and we're that. And I'm like, well, what they got to do with the price of bread?
That wasn't a good strategy at all.
I mean, she's trying to play on the heartstrings of America with this we're resilient and we're hopeful. and we're promising and with this and with that. I'm thinking to myself, ain't got nothing to do with the price of bread. Eggs are $10 a carton, damn lady. What are you talking about? They ain't got nothing to do with what's going on out here. But that was her campaign strategy, and it didn't work. It didn't work. So, but then here we are. He's in office, and the question is, who's really running the White House? And what's funny now is, he's talking about Elon Musk is his number two man, and they already having, well, according to the media, having controversy on a couple of issues because Trump made that announcement about how they was going to invest in a lot of money in the AI projects and things of that nature. And then Musk comes back and says that they're not ready. They're not ready to finance, or they're not ready to put that kind of money into AI and all this other stuff. And I'm thinking to myself, why would you care? If he's going to put policies into place, you're right there in the midst of it. So all you got to do is put your money into it and keep going. So I'm really trying to figure out why he would say something like that, but I don't know how you look at it.
Yeah, I mean, he's saying it like he has decision making power, and he doesn't. He's not. He's not in politics. I mean, he's got a lot of money, but the minute that Trump doesn't want to listen to him, he's cut off. And what he'll do is he'll put more money into whoever goes up against Trump. That's what he does. I don't know if I don't think he's into. Yeah, I know he's into cryptocurrency. He got SpaceX and Twitter, but it's like he's trying to control it. You know, like how do you get to decide where money goes? Like who are you? You're not the president. You're not Congress. You're not none of those people.
You got me, brother. And I mean, shoot, the AI program is going to help him. Ain't his car was one of the first cars that was driverless? I mean, that's AI. So why would he not want these AI programs to go forward? But a side note that you just mentioned, crypto. Let me tell y'all something, America. Let me tell you something. Y'all stupid. Y'all about as stupid can be. Now, Trump put out a official Trump coin that he owns about 80% of it, or 85%. He owns most of that coin. And he put that coin out there. And y'all people gave to him like there was no tomorrow. And then some fool that had a lot of money put it into that coin right when that coin got initiated, because he knew that once that coin hit the market, I think they initiated it on a Friday. And then over that whole weekend, it ran up, made him more money. But then what happened? He pulled his money out. He's done. And everybody else pulled their money out. And the coin dropped back down. And so those that left their money in there thinking it was going to still keep going up are now broke again and then lost their money. I don't think that coin's gonna run back up again, to be honest, but it may. I don't know. But my point is, y'all know y'all funding Trump, right? And when I say y'all, I'm talking about the people that were against Trump. You fools gave Trump more money to do whatever. I just don't. I don't. I hope y'all realize that, y'all, because it was his coin. He created it. Not only he created that coin, then you had the Alana coin. His son has a coin. Elon Musk has a coin. These are coins that they created. And if they own the majority of it, guess who the money goes to when it goes in there? It goes to them, especially if you don't pull your money out in time. So I don't know. I don't know. Did you know that? Did you invest in it? Did you buy some Trump coin?
I did.
I mean,
But I did.
Go ahead.
What you said? I did hear that some of the guys, because a lot of those crypto guys, they voted for Trump, and I heard that some of them were angry because what he did hurt whatever they had going on. They thought that he was gonna help them.
Well, he did when he put his coin out there. It took over. I don't, but it's a temporary thing. Because of course you got Bitcoin, and that's like the number one, and I don't think that's going in because that's the coin that started it all, and I think it's up over 100,000 now. So I think eventually, stuff will revert back to where it was going. But right now, that's the latest and greatest thing on crypto, and so that's what everybody's running with. And so, but again, I just thought about that. I was like, do these people realize y'all just funding Trump's pocket? Because everybody was looking to get a quick payout, and I'm thinking to myself, y'all just giving Trump money, and I'm thinking to myself, y'all are crazy. I wouldn't have bought not one coin, and I didn't. I ain't buy no coins. I rather buy a dog coin, or Pepe, all these other RXP or XRP. I'll buy any other coin except Trump.
Yeah.
Why would I put money in his pocket? I don't know. Just stupid. America, I'm sorry. I sometimes we do stuff, and I say we because I'm part of America. We just do some stupid stuff. And then we look back and wonder why. Why? We got to stop. Take a breath and actually think about what you're doing or what you're saying or where you're going. So, but anyway, America, Quentin sent me a excellent video about the upcoming administration and dealing with Elon Musk. And we're going to take a look at it because it answers some questions and it also starts some conversations. So we're going to take a look at it and see what's going on. Hold on, we got technology going on here. And then we also got Bernie Sanders. Oh, you know what? Before we listen to that, let me come back. Hold on. So there's news stories out before we go to that one about Elon Musk. There's news stories out that now some of the parties and some of the different people up there are saying that Bernie was right. All of a sudden now they're saying Bernie was right. Bernie was it's like you didn't want to support him when he was out there trying to stop these people and create a platform and give him support to give him no, y'all didn't want to do that. And now y'all want to turn around and say, oh, you know what? Bernie was right. It's too late, people. Oh, y'all something. And I don't know if y'all saw the picture. So Bernie was at the inauguration, and they just happened to catch this picture. Everybody was up clapping and applauding around him, and he was sitting there with his arms crossed, just looking, like he normally looks, like he's pissed off at the world. But I do have. So he put out something like right after he was at the inauguration. So let's listen to a little bit of that first, and then we'll go to the other one. I forgot I had this one, so forgive me.
Yesterday, and needless to say, I disagree with much of what he had to say. But what really struck me, however, is not what he said, which was not surprising given his rhetoric, but what he didn't say. The simple truth is that Donald Trump gave a major speech, the first speech of his second presidency, and ignored virtually every important issue facing the working families of this country. How crazy is that? Our healthcare system is broken, is dysfunctional, and it's wildly expensive. Not one word from Trump about how he is going to address the healthcare crisis. We pay by far the highest prices in the world for prescription drugs, sometimes 10 times more than the people in other countries. And 1 out of 4 Americans are unable to afford the prescriptions that their doctors prescribe. Not one word in his speech on the high cost of prescription drugs. We have 800,000 Americans who are homeless and millions of people spending 50 or 60% of their limited income on housing. We have a major housing crisis in America. Everybody knows it. And Trump, in his inaugural address, did not devote one word to it. Today in America, we have more income and wealth inequality than we have ever had. The wealthiest 3 people in America now own more wealth than the bottom half of our society. But Trump had nothing to say, not one word, about the growing gap between the very rich and everybody else. And maybe, just maybe, that's because he had those 3 people, the 3 wealthiest people in our country, sitting right behind him at his inauguration. And I should add, that those three people, if you can believe it, and this really is unbelievable, saw their wealth increase by more than $233 billion since the November elections. How's that? $233 billion increase in wealth for the three wealthiest people. No wonder they were sitting right behind Donald Trump at his inauguration. They couldn't be happier. During his inaugural speech, Trump did not have one word to say about how we're going to address the planetary crisis of climate change. The last 10 years have been the warmest years ever recorded, and extreme weather disturbances and natural disasters are taking place all over the world, from Los Angeles to India, across Europe to North Carolina. Not one word from Trump about climate change, except, of course, to make it clear that he intends to make this horrific situation even worse with drill, baby, drill. Just brilliant. In the coming months and years, our job is not just to respond to every absurd statement that Donald Trump makes. Our job is to stay focused on the issues that are of importance to the working families of our country, and in fact are widely supported by the American people. Let me just mention a few of them. Yes, healthcare is a human right, and we must join every other major country in guaranteeing healthcare to all people through a Medicare for all single-payer program. Healthcare is a human right. Yes, we must take on the greed of big pharma and substantially lower the cost of prescription drugs in this country. Yes, we must build millions of units of affordable housing and low-income housing. Yes, we must make sure that all of our young people have the ability to get a higher education by making public colleges and universities tuition-free. Yes, we must work with the global community to combat climate change by cutting carbon emissions and transforming our energy system away from fossil fuel and into sustainable energy. Yes, we must pass legislation to raise the absurdly low federal minimum wage of $7.25 an hour to a living wage of $17 an hour. Anybody who works 40 hours a week in this country should not be living in poverty. Yes, we must pass the PRO Act and make it easier for workers to join trade unions and grow the trade union movement in America. Yes, in order to help fund the needs of working families in this country, we must demand that the wealthiest people in this country, including those individuals sitting right beside Donald Trump at his inaugural, start paying their fair share of taxes. Yes, we must end a corrupt campaign finance system which allows a handful of billionaires to buy elections and move us rapidly into an oligarchic form of society. Bottom line, as we enter the new Trump presidency, we have got to remain focused. We cannot panic. No matter how many executive orders he signs, and no matter how many absurd statements he makes, our goal remains the same. We've got to educate, we have got to organize, we've got to put pressure on Congress to do the right things. And by the way, with Republicans only holding a 3 or 4 seat advantage in the House, we can stop them time and time again if we are organized. Finally, my friends, we have got to fight to create an America based on economic, social, racial, and environmental justice. That's what we've got to work on. Let's go forward. Let's do it. Thank you.
You heard it, folks. Bernie Sanders have given us our marching orders. All the stuff that we've been talking about. But you know what? The Democratic Party, that's what they should have been doing. That's the marching orders right there. He just gave y'all the core things that need to be addressed, that really need to be on the front line of what needs to be addressed. When all these executive orders was being signed, that's what should have been signed dealing with housing and living wages and healthcare and all that stuff. That's what it should have been signed to get in line, not all this other stuff. But nobody wants to address those things because it doesn't put money in the wealthy pocket. And that's what he was trying to say. And Quinn had said this before. People, we got the power. We really do. I really don't care how much money Elon Musk has or how much money well, one of the Koch brothers is dead, but the Koch brothers and all these other people that are up there on their high horse. I really don't care how much money they got. Because the bottom line is they're not coming off their mountain to come do the work. They're not. They're not coming down here in the trenches to work. So believe it or not, America, we have the power. But just like Bernie said, we got to be organized. And one way to get organized, that every job and every business needs to be fighting to be unionized. If your business is not paying you your fair wages and they expecting you to do this and they don't have a good health care plan for you and your family and they want you to work all these ungodly hours and then they want to pay you overtime and all this other stuff, because some jobs have gone to paying you a salary. They stop paying you hourly. They just pay you a salary and you end up working way more hours for a salary. And you're thinking you're getting over, but you're not. You're working more hours. Actually, you're working for more hours with less pay. Because if you add up what the salary pays you vice 40 hours and divide it into 40 hours, you find out you're probably getting paid more or less than if they was paying you by the hour. But when you organize, this is how you can control things like that. If the company really cares about you, they won't care about you organizing the union. In fact, they will embrace it because that brings you to the table. So y'all can come to the table and have conversations on safety and work conditions and all the stuff that makes things workable when you go to work, if that makes sense. But they got y'all scared, and well, I take that back. Not scared, but they have you in a pickle because you got to work and you got to support your family, and unfortunately, most of us are living paycheck to paycheck. It's like like they said, you're one paycheck away from being homeless. And so when people start talking about striking and all this other stuff, it's like, do I strike or do I let my family go homeless or hungry or whatever the case might be? And most people just ain't willing to go that route. But you might want to think about it. It might be the route you need to go if you want to make things better for your family instead of making them worse. But that's what's that?
Not to cut you off, but they're putting people in a position now to where everything is so expensive. They're working and still are behind, and they're in a position now that they don't have anything to lose. They're gonna do it now.
Oh, well, good. They need to do something. But that's one way we can organize, and that's unionize. Wherever jobs you at, whatever factory you at, y'all need to start talking. Start having meetings at people's houses, whatever, and y'all need to start putting a plan together and say, you know what, we want a union. If we don't get a union, guess what? We're walking. We're walking. And I guarantee you, they'll bring you to the table because they don't want it. I mean, because now that Trump's getting ready to put tariffs on all this stuff coming out over, it's not going to, that's not going to be an option to say, well, we'll just take it overseas. Because if you take it overseas, he's going to tax the hell out of you to bring the stuff back. So I don't know. But anyway, yeah, I mean, you heard him. We just got to organize. We got to organize and we just got to stand up. We just got to stand up. We got to stand up no matter what. As a matter of fact, I was watching the thing this morning over in India. No, Turkey. I forget. They started a revolution because of unfairness, and the one guy that initiated it, he went to college and ended up he's selling fruit off a fruit stand because of the way they got the economy and they got dictatorship and all this other stuff. And he got so pissed and he set himself on fire. But believe it or not, he set himself on fire got everything going, and it may change. I mean, that's a radical thing to do, but just saying, at some point, you got to do something. I mean, at some point, you just got to say, screw it. I'm just going to do whatever be done because what's the outcome? Like you said, Quentin, we're already at the point now. We ain't. What are we going to lose? We're at a point now. We're going to lose it anyway. So, might as well fight for something. So, I don't know. All right, back to Elon Musk. I won't take too much of your time. Let's go back to Elon Musk. Whatever his name is. Musk. Elon Musk. So this is here we go. Mr. Quentin sent this to me. This is good. And whoever this, I forget who this guy is, but he puts out some really good.
Robert Raich.
Thank you, Robert Raich. He puts out some really good stuff. And here's
So, do you know, James, that he was in Bill Clinton's cabinet?
Oh, was he?
Yeah, he's an actual economist.
Oh, okay. Well, I love his stuff. I'm glad you turned me on to him. So let's watch this.
Hello, everyone. But Elon Musk plans to be pulling the strings. The world's richest man spent at least $277 million backing Trump and other Republican candidates, and he expects to get a good return on his investment. Taking a page out of Trump's own playbook, Musk expects that when I need something from them, I call them, they are there for me. Musk started a super PAC that took over Trump's Get Out the Vote operation in key swing states. The operation was rife with worker exploitation. Canvassers faced unsafe working conditions and alleged they were tricked and threatened during their employment. Musk also turned his social media platform X into the biggest pro-Trump megaphone in the world. In 2024, he posted at least 87 false or misleading election claims on X to his over 200 million followers. Those claims got a total of 2 billion views, and none of them had a community note. Federal government, with a direct line to Trump, Musk will surely secure even more government contracts. Just two of Musk's companies, Tesla and SpaceX, have accounted for nearly $20 billion in government contracts over the past 16 years. Last year alone, his companies were awarded 100 different contracts with 17 federal agencies. Many of these contracts have effectively enabled Musk to operate as a monopolist. SpaceX has cornered much of the rocket launch market, and his Starlink satellites have become crucial to the nation's national security, with nearly 2/3 of all active satellites now orbiting the Earth controlled by Musk. With his own puppet president in the White House, Musk can pull the strings to expand his influence and his wealth even more. Musk will also likely have a chance to escape accountability for exploiting his workers and breaking laws aimed at protecting the public. Over the years, at least 8 federal agencies have fined, investigated, or charged Musk companies with a variety of violations. At the time of the election, the National Labor Relations Board, which oversees workers' rights, had 15 unfair labor practice investigations against Tesla. It also issued a complaint against SpaceX, alleging the company unlawfully fired 8 workers who circulated a letter critical of Musk. After the election, Trump named Musk co-chair of the so-called Department of Government Efficiency. Musk has suggested cutting $2 trillion in spending, which could require cutting Social Security, Medicare, and other programs people rely on. He's also targeted agencies designed to protect you, like the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. While Musk's DOGE doesn't have any direct authority, his grip on Trump has been so strong that Trump allies have called him co-president. In any event, Musk already has shown he can use X to weaponize his followers to shape the government according to his whims. A billionaire shadow president like Musk is the inevitable and tragic consequence of the disastrous Citizens United decision that opened the floodgates for big money to dominate our democracy. Since 2010, billionaire political spending has increased more than 300-fold. Elon Musk's unprecedented spending And his control over a key communication platform takes this corruption to a whole new level. By pulling the strings of his puppet, Trump, Musk can line his pockets with taxpayer dollars and gut the federal agencies investigating him. He can both enrich himself and escape any consequences for hurting people along the way. This isn't just Trump's second presidency, it's Elon Musk's first. As we plan to fight this administration over the next 4 years, it's crucial to know where the power really lies.
Go on, Quinn, get him.
I don't even know where to start. I don't know if it's disappointed, disgust, or indifference, but the fact that the Americans are allowing this to happen because we have the power, we got to take some accountability.
Yeah.
We can at least stand up to it. But there are an awful lot of people who like Elon, and they like Trump, and uh, personally, I think this is one of the issues with our culture is that we worship rich people. We see wealth as a symbol of virtue and hard work when that's not what it is.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Somebody else had mentioned that too. Now that you said that, somebody was saying that, they're like idols. Because it's the same with celebrities. People that are with fame and fortune and money, we keep them up on this pedestal or something, and we just adore them, admire them, and they smile and grin in our face, but then when they get behind closed doors, we're nothing but a bunch of dumb hicks from Alabama. It's like they don't even really care about us, but it's like we ignore that. We just love their status and their money, and we just gravitate to them.
we make excuses for them, not to cut you off, but we make excuses for them, and they're doing all of this deportations and talking about immigrants taking over the country. But Musk himself had came out and said that they need immigrants for work because Americans aren't skilled enough to do the work. He said this. So I mean, like, where's his supporters at? How they gonna bend this one to make it make sense?
They can't. They can't. Well, in his report, when he was saying how he was sending people out to the fields for the elections, um, and sent all these people on the ground to go door to door and all this other stuff, but was threatening them and all this other stuff. So I'm like you're not gonna send me out here from my home in adverse conditions and talk to me in any kind of way, and it got me working, you know, 16, 18 hours a day trying to get this guy elected, and then you don't want to pay me and all this other stuff. It seemed like those people would have just quit. But
So
yeah, go ahead.
sorry, not to cut you off. I read that article when it came out, and so what he did was, um, he had to bust them out of town because they were staying in hotels, and a few of the people asked him, did they need to drive, and he told them no, they had transportation. Well, he had them in the back of a U-Haul truck, like a van, no seats or nothing. This should. Um, didn't tell them that they were campaigning for Trump, and then had the campaign supervisors told them that they had an unrealistic number of doors to knock on, and if they didn't reach it, then they weren't going to pay for their hotel rooms.
I couldn't get to the first Greyhound bus station quick enough. Well, first of all, you were gonna stick me in the back of no U-Haul, so that's one thing. So right then, that it's over. I'm not riding in the back of no U-Haul. If you can't get me a bus or a van or some kind of reasonable transportation to get me to where I'm going, we lost me right there. But then, oh man, see that's what I'm
Yep.
saying. We allow stuff to happen and we just go with it. It's like I don't get that. So you're telling me? So these, I don't know.
Well, they purposefully prey on people who are desperate, who for whatever reason can't say no, won't say no, don't stand up for themselves, don't set boundaries, you know. Maybe they're standing on the corner panhandling. Who knows? But they pick people that they know that they can take advantage of.
They're in desperate, yeah, that they don't have no other choice. I don't get it. So,
But sorry,
no, go ahead.
but at the same time, he didn't tell these people the truth because they didn't know they were campaigning for Trump.
Till it was too late.
Yeah, until they got wherever they were, and then by that time, they had to stay in hotels.
Wow. It's sad, America. It's sad. We got to get better. Hey, when Bernie was saying that Trump didn't talk in his speech about climate change.
Mhm.
Well, he might not talk in his speech, but he did one of his executive orders he signed was to stop the windmill farms.
Yeah, they said they were killing birds.
Yeah. So he signed that. I don't know how far that's going to go, but because from what I understand, the project is supposed to be a success, but I don't know.
They said that I listened to Joe Rogan did a podcast with Vance, and I'm not a Rogan fan, but I wanted to get some good stuff for the show. I wanted to listen to it, and it was like 3 hours long. It was ridiculous. I listened to about an hour and a half of it, and I just couldn't listen to it no more. I got tired. But in it, they were talking about the birds and how the windmill they kill all these birds a year. And if you see them, there's a bunch of birds that are laying up, and something about messing up the whales because of the vibrations. They know how whales they're very sensitive to like sonar.
Right.
So they were saying that it was messing up the whales. It's a bunch of half truths because I looked up some statistics. When they want to talk about birds getting killed, how many birds get killed by airplanes?
Yeah, we've had quite a few bird strikes here lately over the last couple of weeks.
And Trump's more concerned about this, but they're not concerned about stopping companies from dumping their waste into our drinking water.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, and I was looking at some of his executive orders. So he's got one saying that he signed saying restoring names that honor American greatness. What the? I don't know what he means by that, because apparently he's going to bring back all the statues that have been pulled up, General Lee and all them statues that have been pulled from different areas. So I guess he's going to bring those back. I don't know. And I guess they're going to call. They changed the name to Fort Liberty.
Yeah.
I don't know. So they're gonna change everything back. I'm kind of stumped on what he's gonna do with that, because the only thing you can do is bring back all the statues and stuff that people done had to pull up.
So,
Go
sorry.
ahead.
All this stuff he's doing is like, his fan base, they want to go back to a mythological past. They want to go back to a time where America produced things. Okay, we don't have the infrastructure. We don't produce anything. So like none of this makes sense. Like what do these people think are gonna happen? Like, it's like he ran on bringing the coal jobs back, his first presidency. He can't bring them back. We don't even use that stuff, and we use other things now. I mean, it's sad because like a lot of innocent people are going to be affected. They're going to get hurt. It's going to embolden the bigots and the racists, and I mean, they're cowards. I'm gonna be honest about it. The white supremacists, they're all cowards. They pick on people that they can pick on, and the only reason history in the United States went the way it did is because the government oppressed black people. It was systemic racism. But if all things were equal, and it was really just white and black people, half of that stuff wouldn't have went down.
Yeah, that's true, because even when Lincoln signed the
Emancipation.
release the slaves, correct. That's where Juneteenth come from, because those people weren't told till later. They didn't even tell them, so they still thought they was in slavery when they weren't.
Yep.
Why did not the government, if so, should have went through and told everybody? I don't know. It's our history. That's the whole thing too. Our history is sad because we were built, and you had mentioned this before. We was actually built. We weren't. It wasn't to get away from. Well, some of it was to get away from the oppression of the queen and all that other stuff. But still, everything was economically driven. It was always about money. It never was about freedom or equality or whatever. Everything was driven for economic reason, and so that's why even slavery ever even came into play, because they needed cheap, free labor to work their fields, to pick their cotton and their corn and whatever else they was manufacturing. They needed free labor. Thus came slavery. That's all it was.
And
And
in addition, sorry, James.
mhm,
In addition to slavery, like the poor white people, the ones who weren't affluent, they weren't merchants, they came over here as punishment. They told them over there in England when they broke a law, they said, all right, you can go to jail for this amount of time, or you can go to this new colony and serve out your term, you know. So a lot of them came over here as punishment. Because think about it. This is 1700s, 1600s. You finna get on a boat, go to a land. First of all, you don't know if you're gonna make the voyage. Ain't nobody doing that.
no.
How many people are gonna willingly agree to do that unless there's some money involved or.
Something, yeah, it's gotta be an end game. Yeah. Because the odds are not the odds are not in your favor at all.
No.
So there's the history. Wow. And then even going back, so and the last thing, so Bernie had also mentioned about healthcare. And so again, something that is very, very unequal here in America, that it seems crazy that they would fight to have universal health care for all. It seems like that's just, why would you fight that? Why would you? And then, okay, we won't even talk about universal. How about just affordable health care and taking care of our seniors? How about that? I think once you retire, healthcare should be the last thing you have to worry about. We've had, I would say at this point, millions of seniors that retired and had to go back to work or either get some kind of part-time work in order to afford their medication and healthcare in their old age. If you don't believe me, go to any Walmart. Matter of fact, now go to any store. You go to any store, most of the workforce is elderly people. Go to Lowe's. Go to Lowe's warehouse. No, ain't no whole lot of young folks walking up there. It's a bunch of old folks walking in there. Like,
Yeah.
I'm looking at them like, man, you need to be at home working in your flower garden or something. Why are you up here working, doing this hard work up here? But they have to, because they can't afford to stay home because their medication is too high. But I bring that up because just to prove a point. So, like with cancer treatment, they had y'all know the sports commentator Dick Vitale. A couple of years ago, diagnosed with cancer. He left. He's been fighting cancer for the last 2 years or so, and he just recently made a news press about that he's now finally cancer free. Um, and I'm happy for him. And this has nothing to do with him, but I'm just pointing out the indifference, because he had that throat cancer, lymphoma, and that cancer that's really hard to fight. He's in a position that he can afford the latest and greatest treatments, that his outcome of success is a whole lot more higher than the average Joe who's relying on his insurance, who's only going to cover so much, and they're not going to give him the latest and greatest, because the average Joe is just going to get whatever is in the system, and most of the time they're not going to this generic crap. So he's not getting the latest and greatest treatment when it comes to fighting cancer. And so, I mean, just listen to some of these numbers. It's about 1.8 million new cases of cancers are diagnosed each year in the United States, and patients and their families foot the bill for an estimated 5.6 billion annually in out-of-pocket expenses. This is for surgery, radiation therapy, chemotherapy, and other treatments. And this is according to the American Cancer Society. And the high cost of cancer care are projected to grow from 190 billion, which was in 2015. They're saying by 2030 it's going to be 246.6 billion in estimated cost for cancer care. Right now, patients that have to this I guess an average financial burdens for a patient dealing with cancer, he has to come out of pocket $43,516 for the initial care, 5,516 for the continuing care if it's on some one of those cancers where you have to do ongoing treatment after the fact. And then for those that don't make it and are have to go to hospice and then pass on, that can cost any person up to $109,000 in their last year of life. What average Joe? $43,000 is a salary. So what average Joe can afford that if they
Yeah.
get cancer? That's a yearly salary for most folks. That's a teacher salary. Teachers don't even get paid that much.
Yep.
Um, I say that's a fireman's salary. I don't even think they get paid that much now. We'll say that's a fireman's salary. 43,000. So take a year's salary for him to just do his initial care. And then it depends on what kind of cancer you get, because each cancer is different. Some are more aggressive, some are untreatable. Um, um, some take different medications, some take more medications. Others, it just depends on even what cancer you get, is on how much money you're going to put out of pocket. And so I want to bring that up because that's again, this is what needs to be talked about. I really don't care about some of the other mess that's going on because you can keep fighting on people down at the border. That's fine and dandy. Them people ain't bothering you because again, he just put an order, executive order out, so they canceled the application. People that have been waiting for years that were going in to get their citizenship or do whatever they want to do, all that got canceled, wiped out. Lady in the middle of the street just crying because she had been waiting all this time and right at the day of her um appointment, everything got uh stopped. And so she don't know what's gonna happen. You got people panicking, they don't know what's gonna happen. Are they gonna be torn away from their families and all this other so this fool done created chaos. And if y'all paying attention, he's sending troops down there to the border now. He said just to help out and all this other stuff. I need y'all to pay attention. Pay attention. There's something brewing in this sending troops down there. I don't know.
Yeah.
I can't put my finger on it, but he's sending troops down there for a reason, and it ain't just to help out the border patrol. It's something more underlying that he's got under because what he's trying to initiate is going to take like a whole lot of manpower. You're talking about a whole lot of agency and a whole lot of manpower to start going around and collecting people that are not documented and then process them and then send them back. That's a lot of manpower. ICE and the rest of the agencies don't have enough manpower to do all that. He's sending troops down there for a reason. Don't know what it is. Don't know if he's going to declare martial law at the border and start shooting these people as they go across the. I don't know what he's got up his sleeve, but
Yeah.
he's sending troops down there for a reason. Pay attention. It'll come out eventually why he's doing it. It ain't to help out the border patrol, because if that's the case, we'd have been sent troops down there. It's something else. Something else he's got planned that he needs troops in place. Because again, what he's talking about doing, we don't have the manpower. There's no way we can go door to door, research, track down, find, follow, arrest, process, move from this point to that point. You need a whole country to do that.
Yeah. He gonna spend more money doing that than the money he could have put in daggone healthcare or something.
Exactly. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. So it's like, again, people, y'all got to pay attention to what's going on. Stop going with the bandwagon. Like, yeah, yeah, yeah. No, don't do that. I mean, let's just be honest. Our Hispanic brothers and sisters been coming to this country for how long? and it never been a problem before. Why is it now? Why is it now? Only because they focus on these different things, trying to make it seem like they're causing the problem, and they're not. They're not causing the problem. These people have been coming over here for years. Dude, I'm in North Carolina. They've been coming over here seasonally, um, uh, tobacco, working the tobacco farms. You drive down where I used to live at, and you drive down this one road with number of tobacco farms, and they used to have these little shacks up there, and that's where they'd come live at for the tobacco season. And they be riding on the little buses, and they pick them up in the morning. They go out to the tobacco field and prime tobacco and all this other stuff. They did that for years. When I was going through school, I seen them all the time. They come, it was seasonal. They come, do the when the tobacco season was gone. I guess they go back to Mexico. I don't know where they went, but they left. And then as soon as tobacco season started planting, you see a little few coming back. And then by the time them stalks grew up, they were in full force, kids and everybody. But that's what they did. They worked the fields. Nobody had a problem with them then. And that's not because we wouldn't do the work, because we were out there with them. The local people that worked there, that prime tobacco, was right out there with the Hispanic brothers and sisters, priming tobacco. And when you took your break, you got your a bottle of Coke and a dab, and you ate that, and then you went back. I mean, I'm just saying, it wasn't a problem then. Why is it a problem now? They've been here forever. Why is it a problem now? And y'all listening to them, making them a problem instead of dealing with what needs to be dealt with. So again, America, that's why we're telling y'all need to be independent, not a party. What final words you got there, Mr. Quentin?
I want to touch on something Bernie said in his speech. He said the system is broken. I don't believe that to be true. I think the system is working as it is intended, and it is designed. You know, I'm gonna use healthcare industry as an example. People upset, say like their claims to get denied, they need these major surgeries. They're upset. Well, on the flip side of that is that CEOs and the stakeholders of these companies, they're celebrating because they're making record-breaking profits. So the system may be broken from what we're looking at because it fails us, but it doesn't fail them. To them, it's working just as it's supposed to. But we have the power to make change, and we need to know that. We need to believe that. We need to feel that.
Amen, brother. And you're right. I mean, we're gonna keep preaching that here on Truth to Freedom, because you'd be surprised if y'all start getting involved just on a local level. Just start getting involved, start questioning, start attending these meetings, start bogarting. Let me tell you something. If you can get a group of men to charge on the White House like they did, imagine if y'all did that for other stuff. That same approach, not the destructive part, but just to come together as a group and surge toward a meeting or whatever, and make your demands and your issues heard. You'll get a whole lot of things changed. Teachers' salaries will go up, and so forth and so on. Excuse me. But if we sit back and get caught up into the busyness of life and say, well, I don't have time for that, I gotta work, I ain't got time for that, I gotta do this, or I ain't got time for that. But then yet at the dinner table, you're complaining about, why are they doing this? Why are they letting the kids do this? And why are they charging these taxes over here? And why is my HOA yearly thing is going up? See, all this stuff is going on, you complain about, but when it comes time to trying to fix it, I ain't got time, I gotta go to work, or I ain't got time, I gotta do this, I ain't got time, I gotta do that. Well, what you gonna have time for? So it's like, choose your poison. You're not gonna have time, or you're gonna complain about it. But don't do both. Either you got time or you don't. But don't say I don't have time, but then turn around and complain about it like you can't do anything about it. You might have to give up your Parcheesi night and go down to the local county meeting in order to get some answers to your questions. So what are you willing to sacrifice? I don't know. But again, if you don't get involved, if you don't make your voice heard, nothing's going to happen. It's just going to be the same thing over and over again. Then you're complaining about this and complaining about that. It ain't the Hispanics coming over the border. It ain't nothing. It's us. It's this whole, like he said, the system ain't broke. The system is doing exactly what it's supposed to be doing. They'll tell you it's broke, but it's not broke. It's designed to keep you in the trenches and keep them in the penthouse. That's what it's designed to do. Because there is no fairness in this system whatsoever. But it's designed, just like it's been designed by them. They've been tweaking it and improving it all these years. And they got it now to the point where it's really evident. They get to sit up in the penthouse, and we're down here in the trenches. Not only are we down here in the trenches, they got us fighting amongst one another in the trenches. So we're
Yep.
giving them a show and keeping them wealthy while they sit up there in the penthouse eating crimpets and caviar. Do that seem fair? Don't seem fair to me. But like Quentin said, we can change it. We really can. I guarantee you, start making your voices heard, start marching up to some of these senators' offices and holding some meetings and letting them know what your concerns are, because that's the other thing. Have you ever noticed I know some congressmen and some senators do it. Like Wiley Nichols here in North Carolina. He has an office in Garner. He holds regular local meetings like throughout the month that you can register to go to. And he sits down at the table and he listens to the people in his district on the issues at hand, and he talks to them and explains to them what's going on in Congress, what bills are being presented, so forth and so on. And then the people are able to tell them their concerns and their problems and whatever. How many of y'all senators do that? That's who you want up there in Congress. Somebody that has not lost touch with their constituents, that you don't see them. The only time you see them is during election time. What about all the other times? That's who you should be supporting if you're going to be supporting anybody. Somebody that cares about you enough that they come back down here to your city or town and meet with you on a regular basis to make sure that you're being taken care of and your needs are being met, or at least get your needs addressed the best that they can. If your senator or congressman ain't doing that, then y'all might want to pick somebody else. And let me tell you what they did to Wiley Nichols. So he was going to run. They came back and did a redistricting, and however they did it, knocked him out of the play, and so he couldn't run, and he didn't run for his seat, or the seat was gone. They redistrict his area that kind of knocked him out. You know, this is what they do when they got somebody that's in there for the people and are working for the people. Then they try to work him out of the picture, or they won't give him no support. This is what they do. That's why the people that are up there in DC that are trying to do something for the people, they ain't got nothing to stand on because ain't nobody backing them. That's where we come in. We need to be backing these people that are up there for us and trying to help us. We need to be giving them the support. We need to be on the TV raising our voices. We need to be out on the street raising our voices. We need to be at political rallies and meetings raising our voices and giving them the support they need so they can get some stuff passed. Because believe me, some of them congressmen and senators up there, they can talk all that trash they want. If you start talking about you gonna vote for somebody else, oh, they'll kiss your butt just as they'll lick it all up. They'll lick every dingleberry out of you to make sure that you vote for them. They sure will. Watch. Soon as you start going the other way, they'll come here. Oh, I'm sorry. They'll do it.
Yep.
Tell me if I'm wrong, Quentin.
Oh, they will. They will.
So going back to what we were saying, y'all have the power. That's all we can tell you, sir. But anyway, that's all we got for today. Just so y'all know, we got some stuff coming down the pike. My brother's working on a show for co-op. How do you even start one? And it's universal, so it ain't like one particular. It's like any co-op. These will be the steps that you need to go. So we're gonna put that information out there, hoping to get some of y'all people motivated to start one, because that's another way to combat some of this madness that's going on. Start a co-op. Start a co-op, they can't touch
Yep.
it. They can't touch it. That's one thing. And they're not gonna make no laws to do anything against it. So start a co-op. And you don't have to worry about all these high prices and all this other stuff. But anyway, we're gonna put a show together on that. And then also, I was telling Quentin, I saw this thing. It was going around some of these European countries and analyzing and getting the results of stuff that they were doing that's working. Like, was it France? No, it was Italy. It was Italy. So Italy, basically, they get 8 weeks. I think it poured out at 8 weeks of paid leave a year. They get 8 weeks, and in December, they get an extra month of pay. So in December, and the reasoning behind, well, the guy that was doing the interview, and they was talking to the lady and the husband, and they said the reason behind it was because in December, because it's the holidays and all this other stuff, and then people go on vacation, you're using your paycheck to pay your bills. So you need a paycheck to enjoy your holiday. So they pay them an extra paycheck in December. And it was another country, they only work 36 hours a week and they're fine. And they interviewed the CEOs of these companies, and it was like they're behind it 100%, but they say their production has never been better because their employees are happy. And we talked about that. So we're going to have a show about that because I want y'all to see. And because the crazy thing is, like I was telling Quentin, several of them said that a lot of the ideas that they had or they tried and it worked came from us. So why we're not doing it, I don't know. These are ideas that they didn't come up with. These are ideas that American programs came up with, but we never initiated them. Why? Because in the scheme of things, they think it doesn't put money in their pockets, and so they don't want to entertain it. But in reality, it would put money in their pockets. But the other problem is they're greedy. Corporate America is greedy. It's not about you, it's about them. And they want every dime they can drag out of you until you drop. Used to be companies cared about you, but then over the years, those people died off, and greedy upcoming executives took over. And now this is what we got. Work until you drop. Think about it. And we're going to the show. I don't want to get into the show, but they was talking about how it's less stress. Their health care is not bombarded by all these issues of illness because of stress and overworked and all. It's like it covers a whole blanket of stuff that makes sense, but but the thing is, you can't be greedy. See, if you're greedy, none of what we're going to talk about on that show is going to make sense because all you care about, you're going to be looking at it like, no, well, I know you ain't going to take that. I ain't paying you no. Oh, and they also pay you. Not only do they pay you 8 weeks of vacation, it was 6 months of maternity leave. 6 months, and the lady said because it's the right of the mother to be able to um uh commune with the baby. That's not a word she used, but I'm just saying to connect with the baby. That's the critical time to connect with the baby. And so she should be home with the baby. And they also give the father time off as well. I forget how much they give him off, but they also give the father off paid by the company. And you don't have to worry about your job. So that's stress right there. Ain't that? I mean, just that. Just take that situation right there. You get ready to have a baby. How much? How wonderful would that be to know that, man, I'm going to have 6 months with my baby, still getting my paycheck, job still there waiting on me. My husband will be able to be home with me for some of that time, and he'll be getting a check. We ain't got to worry about bills and all the other stuff. You tell me right there. Tell me how much better you feel, other than knowing that most women, half of them have to work up until the pregnancy unless the doctor just pulls them out of work because it's hurting the baby and their health. But well, Quentin, how long was your maternity that you had when you had the baby? How much they give you?
6 weeks.
So 6 weeks, which in the bigger scheme of things ain't nothing, but it's 6 weeks. But just imagine 6 months. for the mother at least.
6 weeks and I had to leave time.
Yeah, that's the other thing. So 6 weeks and not paid by the company, but if he had 6 weeks of leave, he would have got paid. But just get 6 weeks off. We're not paying you for it. Just you take 6 weeks off and then you come on back to work. So anyway, we're gonna have a conversation about that. So anyway, woo, that's enough. So anyway, prepare for a ride. We got 4 years of a ride with the next administration. And we're gonna pray that it goes in our favor, to be honest. I don't think we can afford any more shenanigans or mess going on. So any final thoughts there, Mr. Quentin?
I don't have any.
Well, as always, America, we would love to hear from you. I checked the emails today, nothing. Matter of fact, the only email I had for the Truth to Freedom was a guy that said that he heard our episode on school situations and he was actually selling a service. So he said he heard it, he was talking about it, and he said, hey, I can enlighten and all this, whatever they do. I mean, he's selling a product. That's the only email I got. Everything else was all advertisement. So evidently y'all must like what we're talking about because nobody has responded back either yay or nay. But you can, in the description is our email for the Truth to Freedom. Send us an email. If you agree, disagree, we're a bunch of malokis, whatever. But we love to hear from you. And I will read your email on the show so we can talk about it because our viewpoints is our viewpoints. Everybody has an opinion and everybody has ideas. So we would love to hear them because you might have something better than what we're talking about. But if not, I guess we're just going to continue to talk what we talk about. So, love you, America. Take care of yourself. Watch what's going on. Be independent. And until the next time, Mr. Quentin, have a good day, sir.
You too.
All right, America. As always, God bless.